never get tired of that cold start with this car. Oh, it's even sweeter when I haven't driven it in a few days. Oh, but today, this vlog is not about this car. Just got off work, it is a nice day, so I figured, you know what, it's a great day for a nice little driving vlog. Some of y'all might know, if you haven't seen by now, it has been a few days since it happened, the C8 Corvette was spied testing at Nürburgring. Now, I say Corvette in quotes, because it's still not even confirmed this even is a Corvette. Last time we all tried to guess what the new Chevy was, everyone's like, oh, it's the new Z28 Camaro, and it turned out to be a ZL1 instead. So, something a little different. It turns out it was not the Z28. So do we know this is even going to be a Corvette? No, still don't. But the important part with the new C8 was the sound. I'm going to play you all a little sound clip of the C8. Yeah, as you can listen, it doesn't quite sound like a V8. It definitely does not sound like a traditional V8. It for sure does not sound like either the LS or LT based V8s we're used to. It does have a lot more of a kind of deeper tone to it, a little bit less rasp. And the big debate is it even a V8 at all? Some people are saying, no, that doesn't even sound like a V8. That sounds more like it could be a V6. To me, it sounds almost like it's a V8 with a turbo setup. But that has yet to be confirmed or denied by anyone. My theory is that all of the people were correct when they were talking about the leaked documents were that it's going to get a bi-turbo V8 built at Bowling Green. Potentially 5.5 liters, and I think the big indication of this is we have the Cadillac CT6 V-Sport that's going to come out pretty soon. It's supposed to be for the 2019 model year. The thing with the V-Sport, it has a twin-turbo, dual overhead cam V8. Branded, of course, as a Cadillac motor, not as a Chevy motor, for the first time in a long time since the Northstar V8. And of course, it's built in the Bowling Green plant. So I believe the Corvette, the C8 Corvette, it's going to get some derivative of that motor, if it doesn't even just get that motor. Now, the rumor was 5.5 liters. The CT6 only gets 4.2 liter. Well, it's 500 horsepower, so are you really hurting for power there? Now, of course, another theory was that the C8, the different engine options were going to be of different model specs. Like, you know, you're going to have the base sort of Stingray replacement, possible Grand Sport, Z06, ZR1, etc. Different options for it. So that's always a possibility. Maybe it's not one different motor. Maybe it's one out of a whole line. And of course, now I have some different theories about what could happen with this C8 car. One is that, yes, this is a new Corvette. What we're not seeing is something different. We are seeing the next generation Corvette. Corvettes from here on out will become mid-engine. Now, a lot of people were talking about, well, it's going to raise the price, you won't be able to afford a Corvette. Realistically speaking, GM, at least for Chevy in particular, you have the Camaro and the Corvette. Camaro usually gets the same drivetrain. You know, it's not, arguably the Corvette's not much more than a Camaro. Chevy might just finally say to people, hey, instead of buying a Corvette, why don't you just look at the Camaro instead? You get the same power. These days, very similar weight. And in fact, the Camaro arguably is more practical. Obviously, it's not the Corvette. That would upset a lot of people because you're not getting the Corvette levels of fun. Option number 2 is, if it's even a Corvette at all, it's going to be some Chevy LM sort of prototype homologation special, just like the Ford GT, where it of course shares nothing with the standard Corvette, maybe a few components here and there. But obviously what we're seeing is it's going to be something different. They're only going to make a few thousand of them at most, not going to make a whole lot. There's still hand select who buys them. And the idea is they're only doing that because the FIA or whatever sanctioning body says you have to build so many production cars to compete in the GT class. And of course, that's what Ford did with the GT. Obviously, Ford didn't call it something like Mustang because everyone would have been like, it's not a Mustang. And of course, people still debated it's not a GT either. Well, you know, debates are debates here on that one. You can debate it every which way on that one. And of course, option number 3, though, for what this C8 prototype might end up becoming, and this is my likely theory, and I still think this is. I think this is more likely just because of the motor configuration, just the styling of the car alone. I think what we're actually going to see is this is a Cadillac. I still hold on to that one. The styling of the car looks nothing like the existing C7 Corvette, or really any Corvette before it. Now, most people will probably say, well, C6 and C7 look nothing alike. Chevy radically redesigned it. This is true. That kind of thing can happen. Chevy occasionally does decide, okay, let's just redesign from the ground up the car. And that makes sense, but you're going to alienate even more Corvette buyers. Like the C7 alienated a lot of older Corvette buyers. It didn't have the taillights, it didn't have the same front end shape, it didn't have a lot of things that the earlier Corvettes did. It had a very more European look. Well, this car would do the same if they called it a Corvette. Now my theory with that, though, is that calling it a Corvette, even if it's only for like a prototype car like the Ford GT, still is going to alienate people. So the idea is, why even call it that at all? Guess what brand is sort of trying to reinvent its image right now? That's Cadillac. I think Cadillac is the one trying to become this new brand. I feel like Cadillac is going to try to do with their V series what Audi did around 10 years ago with the S and RS series. You know, Audi was kind of struggling with its image, so what they do, they came out with the R8 as this flagship supercar, and then they turn around with the other Audis, and they came out with the different S and RS lines, and all of a sudden, Audis were cool again. And you go into the dealer, you're like, oh man, they have an R8 here. You get to see it, and then end up buying another Audi. My theory is Cadillac might be doing the same thing. Like, okay, they call this car the V Super Sport or something. I don't know what kind of name they would end up giving it in the long run, but, you know, they did a prototype in 2002 of a mid-engine car. Never reached production, but the idea was kind of the same. It's something much more mid-engine, much more sporty. But yeah, something a little more sporty. The idea is Cadillac would come up with that, kind of have this as the new flagship Cadillac, kind of proving, look, we're not going to just use a rehatched Chevy drivetrain like Corvette or Camaro. They are coming out with this new motor, or the CT6. The idea is Cadillac saying, look, we are not just a luxed up Chevy. We are, in fact, a different brand. And we can make sports cars that should be taken seriously. That's my opinion. I think this would be the car to do it. But we still have yet to see it. Obviously, Nürburgring testing means it's not ready yet because it's still in camouflage, even if it's wearing a lot less. Nürburgring testing usually means roughly a year away. Kind of in hindsight, looking back at a lot of cars, that it's still rough around the edges. Obviously, that means they're still trying to dial in the tune, the way the suspension is set up. You got to get everything right before you do finally get into production. So I'm predicting this is possibly not a 2019, but this is definitely a 2020 beyond model year car, whatever it ends up being. So I'm saying give it till around 2020, maybe even as late as 2021 at this point. So obviously we don't have a set in stone time frame. But I'm curious to know, because this is definitely something that's going to compete with things like the Ford GT. Price wise, I'd say we're lucky to get this under $200,000, because if it was any cheaper than that, it would of course compete directly with the ZR1 Corvette, and that's not a good thing. GM of course wouldn't want that. That's another thing I guess I should throw in there, is GM tends to have the Corvette as the top dog. Nothing gets to be faster, so if it does get a Corvette nameplate, it would almost get a free pass to be the fastest GM car ever. I don't know if they would go for a Cadillac being faster. That's up for debate. What is this car actually going to be? That's why I say Corvette in quotes still. But anyway, let me know in the comment section below what you think about all of that. What do you think of this new prototype Corvette? Do you think this is going to be a flop, or is this going to be the next greatest success story like the Ford GT is? Anyway, if you like this video, go ahead and leave a thumbs up. If you are stopping in for the first time, go ahead and subscribe. I still want to make more mods with this Mustang for sure, and definitely want to get back into doing that. I think I've got a couple of ideas right now planned for some inexpensive mods, but that's definitely coming. And of course, car shows, I'm still going to go when I can, so that for sure is coming. But anyway, take care, have a good day.